Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you're with us today, and I am with two of the finest people in the entire universe. I haven't checked the other planets, but I'm sure it's true. Becky Brown and Dr.Jill Hubbard. Hi,
Hello.
guys.
Hey, guys. I thought I was flying solo here in California, but I'm
You are
glad
not
to
alone.
have both of you.
And we're glad you're there, too.
Yes, we are, but I want to tell you something I'm not glad about. I'm not glad about what happened in Florida at that condo collapse.
Oh, my gosh.
The stories, I was looking at one story of a man that literally was on the phone with his wife, and she was saying, honey, the pool just collapsed, and then all of a sudden the phone went dead. And it's just so tragic. And let's pray for those people. Let's pray that they know that God is for them, that it's a fallen world and horrible things happen in a fallen world, but God is there for us to comfort us and be with us. And I just pray for all of those folks left behind. What a tragedy that is. And it all could have been prevented, of course.
Yes.
As we've heard in 2018, they knew there was a problem. So please pray for all the folks there.
You know, it reminds me of so many things that happen in our life that are tragic and unexpected.
Yes.
Like you cannot believe that a building that stood for 40 years with, for the most part,
Right.
good inspections could collapse in the middle of the night. But I think
Right.
I was just at Restore this past weekend, and so many stories of collapsed marriages.
Yeah.
Where, she thought that everything was fine. And then, the worst possible news comes, and their whole marriage has collapsed.
Yeah.
And there's a rebuilding and a sorting through the debris, and where are the survivors? What has been affected in their life? And it's really a great analogy for what a lot of us go through.
Yep. So if our faith is in anything other than the Lord, we're going to be very confused, very hurt, very disappointed in this life.
Right.
And I just tell you, the things that can make us feel so secure, really, it's not secure. When I was preaching Sunday, I had a trophy up on stage, and I said, if everything you're doing is going for the trophy, I got this one at Goodwill. You can go get a trophy, and that's about what it's worth when something horrific like this happens. So we'll pray for them. If you want to join us on the program, we're going to be here a couple of hours. That number, 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. I'll mention right up front the last book that Dave Stoop and I wrote, The Soul of a Hero. And that is our gift to you for supporting us with a gift of any amount. And I would love for you to have this book because we need heroes. We need more heroes. There's a song that says, we don't need another hero. We don't need another hero. Okay, we do. We need heroes. We need them. And so this is one that it's for men. There are a lot of women heroes I could point out. But this one is for men. By the way, you can see the message I gave on our website. You can see it there. And it's called The Soul of a Hero. And it's would have never happened without Dave. Dave and I wrote a book one time in 3 days. We were in Canada. We wrote it in 3 days. It's about the Gulf War. The war was over in 47 days, so we couldn't get the book out. Answers to children's questions about war. So it became War's Over. Children still have questions. But this one took us 5 years to write this book, and I hope that it'll make a difference in your life. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want a copy of Soul of a Hero, a gift of any amount, we'll send it to you. Come join us. Dr. Jill Hubbard, Becky Brown, Steve Arterburn. 1-800-229-3000. We'll take a break and come right back with your calls. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop A lot of people are you could literally say, in bondage from past trauma that has created an emotional web that they don't understand, and it prevents them from being free. A person that loses their temper regularly is not emotionally free. Someone who has anxiety just to get in the car and leave the house is not emotionally free. And walking around with the shame from a childhood or even a bad relationship as an adult, that is not emotional freedom, and we can help you get there.
The New Life Emotional Freedom online workshop is Saturday, August 14th. Steve Arterburn and Chris Williams will present information on the power of our emotions, procrastination, guilt and shame, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or register online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and there are many firsts in this wonderful ministry. And here's one. Here's a first. Here's a call from Paris, France, who she listens on the internet. It's Mary. Hi, Mary. Welcome to New Life. How are you?
Good, thank you. Hi. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
I wanted to know, how do you know when do you reconcile with your spouse whom you're in the process of divorce, when you forgive them but they don't? And, how can you live in a marriage where you think there's no love and there's abuse, there's adultery, and there's stealing of the money, and putting
Mary,
secret foreign accounts? Yeah.
Why would you reconcile? I mean, it's our job to forgive people that hurt us, and so you want to forgive him to set yourself free. It doesn't excuse what he did. But why would reconciliation even be an issue when it's been that bad?
I guess I can do it for the children. I feel like maybe I think that deep inside I'm scared of living alone.
Yes.
And I think that I don't have enough. I think that he has destroyed my self-esteem. And yes, I know the reconciliation and forgiveness is different, because maybe, that's what I'm, he's nice to me.
But is he any different?
I filed for divorce.
Is he any different?
I don't think he's different. I don't think he's different, because he's nice to me because he's scared that if I continue with the divorce, then the judge will force him to disclose his
That's right.
his accounts that are unaccountable for, and then that means that he's committed fraudulent, he's hiding taxes, and he could be in jail.
So Mary,
what I'm worried is
go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm worried is right now he's nice, but I feel like it's just a facade so that I can stop the divorce, and then once I stop it, then he can just go to see his mistress, whom he has seen every 6 months.
Okay.
And
so Mary,
then he can see every.
Mary, you know a lot, and you really know this man, right? And you can see that his motivation is not for you and the kids. The motivation is about himself and covering himself so that his illicit activities are not discovered, right? He does not want to be held accountable. When you are in this position where you are the person who has held the marriage together, you've got kids, I mean, it's a whole lifestyle, right? Marriage is a lifestyle. You've created a life around this family. It is scary to think about stepping out of that. And a lot of women will put up with a lot of things in order to not let their life fall apart, because his behavior is, it's causing your life to really implode.
Yeah.
In all
it
that
is.
he's doing. And I really get it, how hard it is to take that step in the face of really strong evidence. You know what he's about. And yet it's hard because it will change your life and your kids' lives. And yet to continue living this lie will also impact your life negatively. It's like you've got two not so good choices.
And if you reconcile with him, Mary, and he hasn't done anything, then you're essentially saying it's okay for him to continue to be nice and not do anything to fix the problem that's within his soul. And so you're kind of endorsing it. And as soon as you get back with him, the niceness, he isn't a different person. Now, here's what
He's a good actor.
Let me give you a scenario where we would say, I think you ought to take your time and maybe reconcile. He says to you, when you file for divorce, boy, did that ever wake me up. Let me tell you what I'm doing because I woke up. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to see a counselor. I've joined a men's Bible study, and I'm going to an accountability group about this affair thing that I've had, because I've got a sponsor in my recovery, and I've got a buddy in my Bible study, and I don't do anything now, honey. Just watch what I do, and you're going to see a different person. Now, if he had done, and then he would say to you,
I'll do anything, right? I'll do whatever it takes to save our family.
But here's the thing. And then you say, I'll do whatever you think I need to do. But see, if he's not already doing something, if he's waiting for you he's waiting to see what would you like him to do, then you can see he's not broken, he's not humble, he is just the same guy trying to prevent all the consequences. So somehow Mary needs some support.
Go ahead, Jill.
Sorry, real quick. I don't even hear that he's wanting reconciliation, Mary, so I'm not sure that you even have a choice.
I think what I heard you say, Mary, was that that's why he's being nice.
I think well, he doesn't want it to fall apart, but
right. His driver is to keep all the accounts that he has secret away from the open. And so that would be another step that, when Steve's talking about all these things, Mary, he would come with an open wallet, open heart, and he'd say, look, I know that you know about these secret things. Here's the reality. This is it. I'm willing to do my work. And the hard part is, Mary, the question isn't when to reconcile. You're spending a lot of energy on that, but to really address the fears of what would I do if this goes through? What are my resources? What am I in need of that will help strengthen me as if this goes through? Because the question of reconciling gets confused with the fear of being alone, and it's a legitimate fear.
Sure.
It's a legitimate concern. But you are strong, and you can connect with other women. You can also seek counsel as well. But that's just kind of what I would be thinking about with whether to reconcile. It's not really that. There's no indication that he's wanting to reconcile fully, honestly, and with a direct connection to her.
Yeah, Mary,
So,
is there a chance that you could not reconcile, that you could get some help and support, work through the fears so that you're not putting your children through this all over again? Is there any potential for that?
I don't know. Well, the children's actually they are in college, and so I think that I am in a Bible study and things like that, and the friend said, how about you said, okay, we can start from scratch now.
No.
Promise me not to do any of these. Okay.
No. He has a characterological disorder that must be helped in therapy. This is not a personality that just has a little addiction problem on the side or something like that. This is a personality disorder that must be treated. And I know your friends mean well, but you see, you're not starting from scratch. You know things about him. And I would say this, the things I know about him, I would never recommend my daughter spend 5 minutes alone with someone like that, much less let's see if we can work out a relationship.
Well, and he will say anything.
Yes.
Mary, you've already told us that. He's playing nice. So he can promise all day long. It's what he does that matters.
This is one of the reasons why we encourage women at Restore to do a full disclosure, because when you're starting from scratch, you have somebody who is willing to do whatever it takes, but not because you're having to manipulate that, but because they're fully surrendered and want to have a new life with you.
So, Mary, we're taking the time with you because we're pulling for you, and there's so many other people that have folks around them. It's painful for them to see you separating from him, and so they want to come up with something that makes it nice and makes it easy.
Well, and you want to come up with something.
Yeah.
You know, to give you hope, and that makes sense. And this is a process that you're in, and you know, you're going to have to decide the timing of what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not.
And his adultery absolutely 100% gives you the freedom to divorce and to move on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like, I think that, you know, like, I tried, you know, to say, okay, what can you do? And then, for example, we had a deposition, and we asked, you know, have you, you know, used the common property to have a sexual affair with someone, not me, not your wife? And then he said no, of course. And then we showed him. I found like those hotels bills that says his name, 2 people, you know, $500 a night.
Wow.
And I'm not there. And then we show that to him, and he say, "Oh no, it's just a friend. No, I'm by myself. The hotel made a mistake, you know."
Yeah,
so
we get it.
So you're telling us things.
There.
Yeah, well, you're telling us things that we're not surprised at.
Yeah.
When a friend says, just why don't you start from the scratch, you say, well, here's an example of why I can't start from scratch.
Right.
Even in the deposition, he's lying about his affair that we know well documented.
And you know the hard part about people like this, like your husband, Mary, is that they believe that they're telling the truth when they're lying.
That is so true.
And it's it's like crazy making,
Because
you know?
it's the truth that they spin, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And they believe it so solidly that they, you know, until you believe what they believe, it's just a crazy making cycle.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to ship
Worthy
you
of her trust.
some material. When one is worthy of her
Yes.
trust, the other is take your life back, and we're going to send you Healing is a Choice. And I hope that some of what we're doing there makes a difference. When somebody is unfaithful, you never listen to what they say they're going to do.
Right.
Or how they feel. You watch what they do. And if they don't think that based on what has happened, they need some major repair, they've broken a vow, they've lied, they've totally destroyed the marriage. If they're not wanting to work on that and be the man God called them to be, this is not the time for reconciliation. And I don't think a guy like him will ever change unless there is a divorce. And then maybe when all that's there, he might decide. Because right now he's trying to see, what can I salvage of the image I have, of the things that I've done wrong? What can remain uncovered? And well, it's just a horrible situation, and I'm really sorry for you. But you hold on. We're going to get your address. Thank you for listening to us online, and thanks for calling us from Paris. It's wonderful. Let us go to, how about we talk to Aaron from St. Paul, Minnesota. Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
What's going on in your life?
Should I just dive into it?
Just dive on in.
Dive on in.
Well, just dive on in. I was raised by my mother who has borderline personality disorder, and I had a dad and a stepdad who both were alcoholic narcissists. So I came to the Lord in my teens, and that probably was really my saving grace. I met Jeff Van Vonderen a few years ago, who really turned on the light. I happened to go to a conference, Soul Liberations conference he was speaking, and like, how does he know my family and me so well? And you've never even met me. I had to go talk to him, and he really helped my journey to work through the dysfunction that I grew up in.
Okay, well, let me interrupt you there. I've got to go to a break.
Okay.
Music's playing. I'm glad you called, and just hold on. We'll get right to your question. You're listening to New Life Live, 1-800-229-3000.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. They're just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he came home in just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He didn't want to go, and he came home and said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas July 9th through the 11th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You are a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Aaron. And Aaron, keep going. So
Yes.
what's the
So
problem what is the problem that you're confronted with or facing today?
Okay. What I'm confronted with today is my mom has a habit of liking to be rescued. So she villainizes someone that she's triangulated till she needs it to happen. She often puts "Thus saith the Lord" behind it, and then she has some event of hysteria that gets people motivated to do what she wants them to do, so it does look like "Thus saith the Lord." Okay, I know that sounds weird, but it does happen a lot. Since my stepdad has passed away, that was her favorite person to villainize. Oh, somebody needs to get me a gun. He's coming to town. He really didn't care to see her. He didn't even care what she was doing. I can
tell us about today.
Now she's doing it to me.
Okay.
Now she's doing it to me. I'm now somehow being villainized, where we go from I'm coming to see her for Mother's Day to she's ducking and hiding from me, and I'm sure somebody's rescuing her, and she's getting. I'm beyond my wits on what to do.
Okay, great. We can help you with what to do about a person who is so consistent in their behavior.
Right.
That is the gift, that she's been consistent over all these years. Becky, you want to get us started?
Yeah, Aaron, so my first question is a logistical question. Do you live by her, or is there geographical distance, or what is that? like? for you
Currently,
guys?
there's geographical distance, but I have
Okay.
been considering moving to Omaha. I have a lot of cousins down there, and
Well, would
there's
that be
a
no? I
financial
want to.
opportunity.
Okay, so do you live close to her or away from her?
Away from her now,
Okay.
but there's a financial opportunity that would put me close, and that's
Okay.
another thing I'm waiting because I don't enjoy this.
It's the hard part, just like you said, Steve, there's been consistency. So there's kind of a training that's been happening over these years that you know what she will do. And there's resistance, there's awareness, but you haven't decided what you're going to do. And so the challenge here is just because she's villainizing and creating all the drama, that doesn't mean that you have to attend the show. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to be the audience. You can decide not to buy tickets and go somewhere else. And that sounds kind of harsh because she's your mom, but the reality is, as long as you participate, this will continue. And you can love her from a distance, whether you end up moving near her or not.
And you can love her from a distance, even if you move near her. Now, I got to ask you a question, Aaron. Has anybody ever kind of victimized you, made you the victim before, other than her? Have you really felt like you were mistreated? Horrific? Yeah. Okay, who was that?
Yeah.
Who was it?
I was very young. I was very young. I can't remember whether it was my biological father or my uncle, but one of them did rape me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to ask you.
They looked a lot alike, and there you go.
Yeah. I'm going to ask.
I've been through a lot of counseling for that.
Sure. Well, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And that's what I'd like you to focus on, how horrible it is to be a victim. It's horrible. And when I hear that you're going to move closer to her, it almost feels like you're signing up to be victimized by her versus to accept that she will never be the mother that you want. She'll never be the mother that you deserve. She's always going to be a person that villainizes everybody else so that she can survive herself. Jill, you have some insight here?
Yeah, well, I think what you're pointing out, Aaron, is that she's got a story and she's just always looking for a new target to play out that drama. And to think about how many people has she cut out? How many people have been the villain that have gone by the wayside? And so with that knowledge, do something different, right? I'm concerned that if you move closer, that she's going to ramp up and draw people in. And so you need to prepare to protect yourself because there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to move wherever you want.
Right.
But you've got to find a way to keep yourself in that place of healthy detachment where it's like, okay, there she goes again, and I'll observe from the sidelines, but I won't participate.
And when somebody throws, well, you're supposed to honor your father and mother at you, again, we've said it many times, the way you honor someone that is dishonorable or has dishonorable behavior is to become a person that they could never help you become. Don't affirm
become an honoring
them,
person.
But you be honorable and you exceed what they could have ever done, and that is honoring them. You are really leaving a legacy of honor. That to me is the way to do it. So,
and you have other people in your life, right, that can speak reality to you.
Yes.
That are
In
separate from the
relationships like
drama.
this, we cannot believe that they keep doing the same thing
And
over
they
and
do.
over
Yeah.
again. And
Right.
they do.
They do.
It's simple.
Yeah. All right. 1-800-229-3000. By the way, thank you, every person that supports us and allows us to do this. We love doing this. We never tire of getting to talk to real people about real situations. If you want to talk with us, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be here another hour and a half. We'd love to talk with you. Also, gift of any amount, we send you this wonderful book, The Soul of a Hero, the last book that I was able to write with Dr. Dave Stoop, and we miss him greatly. We'll take this break and come right back for more of New Life Live.
For most of my life I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and whenever you're infected with some kind of dysfunction from mom and dad, well, one, you don't want to repeat it, and two, you really want to be free from that infection. And we'll send this to Aaron. Jill's written a great book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, and it really is an important thing that we not become a victim all of our life, that we free ourselves with a process of forgiving. And if you would like a copy of Jill's book, it is right there at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Let's go back to the phones, and how about we talk with Darlene from Columbia, South Carolina, listening on the internet. Hi there.
Hi there. I'm Darlene, and I'm needing some help with how long I should keep financially helping my 22-year-old grandson, who has been in my life practically since he's been born. His parents were divorced when he was 4. He quit school when he was 16. He now has a fiancé and a little 3-month-old baby. I don't think that he's just lazy. I think he just doesn't really know how to do life. And I was just wondering, my family is very unhappy that I'm helping him. And so I need your advice on what I might be able to do to push him forward.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you called. Yeah, I'm glad you called. I'm going to make one comment, then I'll turn it over to Jill and Becky. You don't have to be able to do life well or be competent in all areas of life to show up at a job and follow directions. That is just something that requires one thing: willingness or a demand that you have to fulfill. And he will never be willing as long as you're going to remove the demand because you're supporting him financially because he has a 3-month-old and all these kinds of things. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I might add something later, but I'm telling you, you can really fall into their story and realize, wait, we're just talking about you get a job, you follow directions, and you earn some money. That's what he needs to be doing.
Well, so the way to say that too is don't do for them what they can do for themselves, right?
What they need to do for themselves.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, Darlene, I don't know how much you're giving him, but the reality is you're actually crippling him from finding his life.
Yeah.
And I know, Steve, you talk about that all the time, that, you think it's loving, you think it's helpful, but it's actually, it's restricting him. It's keeping him from finding his purpose. And I know as a grandma, from grandma to grandma, I know that's not what your intent is.
No.
But there's got to be a process to which you say, okay, grandson, I love you, and I realize that I've been holding you back. It doesn't seem like that, but we're going to start a process.
Yeah. And here's our plan. I'm gonna support you like I have for another 60 days. And then that's going to go to half.
Right.
And then that's going to go to 0. And if you can't find a job in 120 days, then you have to figure out some other way to support yourself. But I really do believe you can find that job. Now, you said that he hasn't figured out how to do life. At 32, if he stays on this path, you'll be saying he just never figured it out.
Right.
And everybody lets him play the role of learned helplessness, and that's a horrible thing for a man to be allowed to do.
Darlene, why do you...
There's something I'd like to... May I say something?
Sure.
He fell and has a broken collarbone and is faced with surgery. Actually, he broke it twice. He fell this winter, and then he fell a few days ago, and it's actually broken in two. So right at this actual moment, he cannot work at this moment, but when that heals, he could.
Yeah. Well, that just causes you to have maybe a little bit different plan. Why is he falling?
Well, it's just an accident. I mean, one was snowboarding in the mountains, and the other, he was on a four-wheeler, and his Croc shoe got caught in the
Darlene,
in the wheel there.
I have a question for you. How can this kid afford these high-ticket activities?
I can't do that. I want to do that.
Like, those are expensive activities.
Four-wheeler.
And if he can do that, he could be working. I mean, that's the whole thing. Well, it's like we all love all that fun stuff, but who's paying for that? And who's paying his medical bills now?
So,
well, I pay his insurance, his health insurance. That has, is very reasonable, but still.
Okay, so Darlene, I'm going to stop you for a second, okay? Because I'm wondering here, this child, this grandson, his parents divorced at 4, and it sounds like you stepped in. And you saw an innocent child whose family was falling apart, and you got to be that person who he really needed. He needed some stability.
Fantastic.
And so you took over, it sounds like in a lot of ways, the role of parent. And right? So your life has been invested in this. The rest of the family has been maybe a little more detached, so they can set strong boundaries with him and feel okay about it. For you as grandma and mom, it's a harder thing, right? That you've got a really soft spot for this 4-year-old. But now the 4-year-old, because what?
Well, because, everybody is blaming me. Everybody's quite unhappy with me, really coming down hard on me for helping him financially, and they just want me to just a cold turkey walk away.
Well, we're not saying that. We're saying do graduated steps to launch him, right? Because the truth is, I mean, he's only 22, but it's not like he's in school and would warrant assistance. He's already got a fiancé and a child, right? Well, which he can't afford.
And when we were talking about this, you were real quick to say, but he just broke his collarbone, and what I want you to hear, Darlene, is you are his defender. And what I want you to be is his launch pad. I want you to encourage him. Okay, so you got a broken collarbone. Maybe there's a training, course that you can start while you're healing. Because, he can listen or watch those lessons. There's got to be a future for him. The future cannot be you paying his bills. And I think the frustration for the family is the concern for where this is going. And,
right. And this is your last child, and it's hard. It's hard to launch them because there's something about them, needing you, right? It feels good to step in and be the one that helps.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a loss for you to give him more independence. But
right.
I think, like Steve said, you can't see him as helpless. You can help guide him. You can help give him a step up. But you've got to start turning the reins over to him.
Now, one more thing, Darlene. You mentioned it 2 or 3 times that they think, they're all blaming you. They're upset with you. Well, when people criticize us, we're not likely to go, oh, you're so right, thank you. We kind of defend our territory and we look at all the things we've done right. But I'm going to invite you to step away from that and to say, we care about him and we care about you. And no matter what you've done, this is the best way to go. You develop a plan and you stick to the plan. And he knows the plan, and his fiancé knows the plan. He simply must get a job and go to work.
Well, he's about to get married, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got to hand over the reins to adulthood to someone who's going to be married.
So here's the thing. The other thing is, Darlene, you can't do this on your own. Obviously, if you could, you wouldn't have called us. So I want us to send her Take Your Life Back.
And I'm going to send The Soul of a Hero.
I was thinking that's him.
Right there is a little
perfect.
path
Right.
for him where it essentially says you have to start small, like a child, and that's where he is.
Right.
But he can pick it up from
and
there.
I want, Darlene, I want you to see him in the future.
Yeah.
As a grown man, responsible for his family, really living a great life because he's able to, not because he's helpless and he depends on you to do everything. He's got some great potential. Let's fulfill it.
Yeah. Glad you called. All of that's coming your way. If you haven't heard Terry Mack talk about it at the breaks, if you will join Club New Life or increase your giving by $10, we send you a shopping bag. Growth Has No Boundaries, the New Life Journal, the Restoration Bible, Women on the Go devotional, and 100 Days of Peace. Hot off the press. Really an amazing book. I love, this is my favorite so far. They're soft, they're lovely, they're beautiful.
And they're helpful.
Yeah.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., July 23rd to the 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Becky, you were at Restore, and
Yes.
the reason we do Restore is because so many folks have been hurt by a lack of sexual integrity, and we have something coming up to help that.
That's right. We're going to do our Every Man's Battle in person in Dallas, July 9 through 11. And it's such a life-changing experience. A lot of guys are very hesitant because they're afraid they're going to be shamed and, disparaged for what they've gotten caught up into. And yet, what they're met with is grace, and it's a no-shame zone. And here's a testimony. It says, I knew that this would be a great program based on a friend's experience, but I didn't know what to expect. My expectations were blown out of the water. What I gained from this weekend is a new community of great men called to relationship, more life tools, and skills to help myself, wife, and in the future, others. I thank God for his tireless work in us. I walk out of here with a connection to self, others, and mainly to God in a relationship I never knew I needed. I walk out of here with hope. And I know a lot of you guys are struggling. And we've been talking about the soul of a hero, and so many things in that book talk about, getting that inner self right with God. And what we do at Every Man's Battle is we help you change your perspective on what it means to be a real man and get your sexual integrity in order. That is going to change everything. So give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or go to newlife.com and register today. You don't want to miss out.
No.
We're so glad to be back in person.
And we do it because people support us. But let me just say this. It is every man's battle, but there are thousands of men, thousands everywhere that have won the battle.
Yes.
And so we want to help you do that. And you do that by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Okay, let's go to David from Fort Worth, Texas. David is, let's see. David is not available to me just yet, but there he is. Okay, David, how are you today?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
Good. How can we help you? Glad that we were able to get to your call.
A question. My wife continues, we've been married for a long time, over 20 years, and she continues to help out her father. He doesn't manage his money very well. And it creates stress in our relationship. And so I just wanted to get your point of view on how to address that issue. Every time I address it with my wife, we get into an argument.
Okay.
I address it. Go ahead.
I'm almost out of time. There are two kinds of help. One, I'm paying for him to be in a nursing home because there's no other money. The other kind of help is I just blew another $5,000. I've got another opportunity. Can you just help me here? Which one of those is she more likely to be responding to?
Well, it's not $5,000, but it is stuff like $600-700 here and there when an emergency comes up, and he seems to never have any money, and he has and he has other daughters. They are not willing to step up to the plate and help.
And David, when you have these arguments with her, what is the result?
Well, I just give in because she says that's why I work, and I work to help my dad if he needs my money, and I'm going to do it, whether you get mad or not. That's why I work, and
so she.
How does that feel? How does that feel when you hear that?
It doesn't feel good. I say he has created a lot of stress in our relationship, and a lot of arguments he has caused. And I confronted him one time. He started a fight physically. So
my goodness,
it's one of those people you can't point out their wrongs. They get very upset and go off the wall, and she's like that too.
So, David, I'm wondering the emotional pull for your wife. She's the only daughter that is helping Dad out. And so emotionally, there's a need there for her as well. And when you just speak about the money, you guys fight there on the content. But I'm wondering what's underneath that for her. And that's what you're not understanding. And I think your discussions would be more fruitful if you could try to get behind your wife's eyes. Not to necessarily agree with her, just to understand where is this coming from in her that she would actually work to support her father.
There you go.
And those conversations have to happen not at the point of discussion
anger,
about another gift to the father. It's got to be in between where nothing's happening. And,
right.
You know,
like,
it's
sweetheart, I realize I go about this all wrong with you. I really don't understand it. And I'm only looking at it from my point of view. Help me understand what this is about for you.
That it's not about for your sisters. Why are you always the one to step up? Please help me understand. But, David, it sounds like that she's more aggressive and you're more passive in the relationship, and that kind of discussion might even be difficult for you. You think?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what is the chance that she would join you, like for our marriage intensive, or
really good.
Seeing a counselor or something? Is there any potential that she would say, hey, we need to fix our relationship, let's go get some help?
Probably 50-50.
50-50?
Those are pretty good
Yeah.
odds.
Yeah.
There are worse odds, that's for sure, yeah. So I think that would be something, honey, I miss, and you kind of remind her what things used to be like between the two of you, whether dating or in the beginning. I miss those days. I think we can get them back, but we need some help.
And I think the key is, just like you said, Jill, if this is really why she's working, I mean, there may be a bigger picture. You get up to like the 30,000 foot level, and what is your house financial system? You know, like, how did you guys decide the division of labor and division of money and all of that kind of stuff? So many couples don't have those conversations until there's an argument, and then it's, you know, your money, my money, his money, all those kind of things. You know, so I think there's more to it than just her giving the money and there being a fight. Let's get down underneath that and have some understanding, because it could be, David, that once you understand what her motivation is and that the other parts of your financial house are in order, it may be that that's what she, you know, that's okay. But if he's gambling or, you know, like, there's all kinds of variables in that, but you won't know until you have the conversation.
All right, I'll send you The Soul of a Hero. I think it'll help you to step up and be the man that you need to be. You know, the book is about being a hero without finding someone desperate to rescue, but to have a relationship that's really fulfilling for both. Well, if you're on the line, hold on. We'll get to your call right after this. If you want to join us for the next program, it's 1-800-229-3000. Becky Brown is here along with Dr. Jill Hubbard, and we really care about you. And that's why we love coming in and trying to give you some element of wisdom. You know, I have the great joy of talking to some of our folks and helping with their kids and all. And I just want you to know, there are young people being raised by some of our listeners who are trying to do the right thing, who have character and values. And it's so exciting whenever I get to talk to them and see, in the face of a really crummy social media world, there are some people doing it right. Pray for them. Pray for us. See you next time on New Life Live. God bless you.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.